it come back to you, this is how you gonna know. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, that's what that was.
Right,
An
right, right.
aha moment. When you send yourself, your mind to answer a question for you, it don't come back as um, you telling yourself, read Psalms 37. No, don't do none of that. It come back to you as an aha moment,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And if your mind can't find the answer, but it know who got the answer, the person will haphazardly give you an off the cuff book reference, song reference, movie reference, and then when you read the book, listen to the song, or watch the movie, the answer will be sitting right there in your face, and you're like, "Dang, I was just asking myself about that the other day." Right? So you have to know how you answer yourself. This is another go back to the prior question of why do you need to know yourself? Because when the answers come in, you need to know that the answer from you, or if it's just a random thought somebody down the street had that flew into your field.
Mm.
If you don't know yourself, you can't answer yourself.
Hey, Rod,
Right?
real quick, this is a hell of a show tonight, y'all. This is one of them ones. This is a hell of a show tonight, Rod. So let's say I'm in meditation and I have an aha moment, and then this happened to me. So this is why I'm asking you this. So I had one of the moments where I'm like, oh shit, wow, that's it right there. And then like 10 seconds after that, I think about my pops. My pops. So does that mean my pops gave me that aha moment? Because I've had aha moments.
Rich, you already answered your question, but you just wanted to verify for the people that you got an answer from your pops from the other side. You already knew the answer.
I'm gonna talk to you about it.
You already knew the answer. Every time so your father went through a particular life that he learned some stuff.
Yeah.
That's in your DNA.
Yeah.
When you ask yourself, one of the first places you looked is in your motherland and fatherland before you went for outside information.
Mm-hmm.
When the aha moment, you crack that code on the DNA that got that information in it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then the next thing that you want to know is, wait a minute, how did that get there?
Mm.
Oh, Dad, you know Pops put that there for you. Boy, I couldn't let you just overlook yourself.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
It's how it works,
How it works, yeah.
right? And when the ancestors cross over, they even push more of who they are down on you, especially the wiser they are, the more they wisdom energy they want to push because they want you to maximize your potential.
Mm.
I was wicked with the hands. I we used to be talking growing up on All I Love. The rumor around Pontiac was, do you think Rod Hayes could beat Mike Tyson? Mike was knocking him out.
You was ill with like that, Rod?
Wicked.
Rod, come on, man.
Listen, when I got to Chicago to the county jail, dudes was telling me stories about this dude in Michigan with them hands. And they was telling me stories of fights I had. And I'm like, what? How the hell you know that? The legend of the street legends, right? Locally, I'm a street legend.
Mm-hmm.
Nationally, I ain't nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I brought that up for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
My job wasn't to be Mike Tyson. That was his job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or else I would have found my customato.
Mm-hmm.
I never found my customato.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to train from, first I learned from one of my cousins, and then I took what he taught me and started studying everybody else with hands.
Right.
Right? So I still never got to play it out in the ring, but I got to play it out in the street. Right? I got to fight 10 niggas at one time and win. Right? I got me and my brother fighting 30, 40 dudes and win. Right? I got to do all that. It don't even matter now. Because I don't got no belt. I don't got no trophy wall or none of that. Now, I grew up, my uncle had a guy next door to him named Art Hall. Our hall was a Golden Glove great, and I had a crush on this sister. This is how I find out. I'll go in there because I got a crush on this sister. I'm trying to sneak over there to see her, and I see all these boxing trophies. And I was like, "Who are all them trophies?" She was like, "That's my brother's." But you can't stay because my mom and them on their way home. So I run back over to my uncle's house, right? And I thought about that for a long time, right? Because also he was wicked with the hoops, right? But then neither one of them was his life mission. His life mission might be he might be a supervisor overseeing geeks in Silicon Valley, far as I know.
Mm.
But he had them hands, he had them hoop skills. I learned how to play basketball for real in prison.
Mm.
Right? Before that, I run the court, I could shoot the ball, but I didn't understand the psychology of the game. So I was never gonna be Michael Jordan.
Mm. Mm.
Right? My calling was different. My mom used to always tell me, and I used to get mad when I want to do something. That's not your calling. You got a whole different calling.
Mm.
And I get mad at her. And I try my best to be real good at it.
Damn.
So she could change her mind, but it didn't work.
It ain't work. It ain't work.
Right. So one day I was like, well, what's my calling? She said, you got to do the Lord's work. I'm like, who the hell is the Lord? And what land this nigga at? Yeah. Because I didn't understand the spiritual nature of the gifts that I had, why I would see things. You're going to be the prophet. I ain't no prophet. Like, I might get some profits, get into the bag.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, but that ain't going to last long.
Mm.
So when I was in Chicago on the run from the police from Pontiac, I made a whole lot of money over the summer. Playing. Didn't last.
Ain't
Just like Mama said. Right? And so I get to the isolation place, and I don't want nothing to do with no spiritual stuff. I don't want to be bothered with no drug dealing stuff. And so the only thing I keep hearing, and these little FOI dudes running around, and I was cussing them out too, but they keep talking about the self-improvement program. And I was like, I already wrote my own self-improvement program. I don't need yours. I wrote my own for me. You can't tell me how to improve me. But the brother, beautiful brother named Ken X in Saginaw, all he do is smile and say, brother, you're going to be all right. But I had wrote a program for myself. I said, this is before I had been studying a few years, but this was like in the early days. I said, I have to figure out what I want to do when I go home. Right. I had already decided that I'm going to turn it into a monastery and a university. I already got that part in my head. Now I'm just reading random stuff. I'm like, there's no system, no order. So I say, okay, I'm reading these religious books. I'm reading this philosophy and history. And I'm telling you, I read the whole Saginaw Correctional Facility library, nonfiction and law books. I'm talking about hundreds of books. And then I'm sitting there. So when I come up with the thing, I say, I'm just going to only study how to improve myself. So it took me to the self-help section, and I focused on Anthony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Napoleon Hill, Dennis Kimbrough, and everybody there was talking how to help yourself. Stop looking for somebody else to help you, how to help yourself. Right. So I went on like a 2 years straight self-help research journey and got some of the best jewels of my life from there. Right. But to improve the self was the only thing I was trying to do. I didn't know that the side effect with that would make me fit to be able to teach people some of the stuff that I had learned. I didn't know it would make me a borderline philosopher. Right. And then I start studying the music, and like I had a lot of ambition when I came home, but everybody was so close-minded. I was shocked at how close these people man was. And my mama was telling me, roll your sleeves up. It's time for you to do the work.
Mm.
Do what work? You got to go help these people. F them people. Help them with what? I need some help. You don't need no help. You the one got to help them. Mama, I don't got nothing. I just got out of prison. Right? 5 years after I was out, I had like 6 cars, a house paid for. I was working at GM, making good money for the lifestyle I was living, and all of it had to go. She said, I don't know why you doing all that. That stuff, you gotta let that stuff go. Let it go. What I'm building for? She said, you're just practicing. My mama used to tick me off sometimes with that wise stuff. But now it's so clear.
Right.
In retrospect, they say hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
But now it's so clear. I know exactly what she was talking about. And I didn't even know the understanding of being a chief wasn't as clear as it became when I seen my mama go on the ground. I was devastated. But then all of her words just haunted me like a cold breeze on a warm night. It was just there. Right? So now I come out and I say, okay, well, what am I supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be telling them who cast this spell on us. There's 3 spells. It's Kingu, it's the Amen spell, and it's the George Washington conjure, the death of Crispus Attucks blood oath. Okay? And there's major conjures open. I got to figure out whose descendants is going to close the Haitian Revolutionary conjure, the New Orleans Revolutionary conjure. That's the side effect that come from the people from the land and the old Mississippians and the Creoles in New Orleans working with the Haitians. They got to close these conjures out. And some of the conjures, the only way to break the spell is to tell the people the spell. And the most powerful one that was holding us the hardest was they used the blood of Crispus Attucks to write the secondary constitution that's on display at the George Washington Memorial with all of the phases of the ones who went into the conjure. And this is where racism works so effective, because all of the people, America always been the melting pot. People always came to the mainland America from around the world to upgrade their life by joining one of the tribes, because we was all prosperous before 1492. So while I'm looking at this, the cracking the Liberty Bell is another spell. The Liberty Bell was the moving of the sacerdotal seat, or the replacement of the sacerdotal seat with the White House, which was the seat of Columbia. Right? Columbia was another name for the goddess, but when you look in the ceiling and you see the 72 5-point stars, that's the reverse side of a sigil. The 72 sigils is the 72 spirits of the Goetia that was used to cast a spell. So by telling the people what the spell is, it in effect loses its grip on their psyche. Because once they go back and they look and then they see it, and now that spell does not work. And that had to be done because we needed to be freed from the condition we was in. The reason why nobody didn't want to associate with dark-skinned, woolly-haired people in America is because you had the old Mississippians was fighting this war against the Moors from Spain, the Huguenots from France, and the gentry from England, who was working together to conquer under the white man's burden. But the white man don't mean the same in Europe that it mean over here. Over there, the white man is the royal family. Over here, the white man is pale skin. That's not the same thing. But in the law over here, it mean the same as it mean in Europe, right?
Right.
And so all these conflicts created this mental stupor, and it made us rebellious to information, because anything that came close to breaking the spell, they told us it was evil. So we can't use voodoo to divinate and break the spell, because we didn't been Christianized and told voodoo is evil. Voodoo is the power. It's the power of the people. You can call it what you want. You call it evil, the devil doing. Devil just mean enemy, adversary, opponent, the one you up against. So if the devil don't want you to use it, he gonna villainize it.
Mm-hmm.
And all it is, what we call voodoo, is really what's called earth rights. The earth rights is the ability to be able to defend the planet from anything not from Earth, frequency wise.
Mm-hmm.
And the Orisha is just one of the, okay, you got the 7 sisters of the Pleiades, the 7 Orisha. You have the 7 seals of the 7 prophets. All of those are just codes to allow you to see beyond the veil. Once the veil begins to crack, you begin to see stuff, and then you begin to wake other people up. The babies got it now, so this ain't gonna be able to last much longer, because the babies is gonna push harder than Rod Hayes, because they not taking no for an answer. I just want the people to shut up and give us our shit back. The babies want blood, but they not fighting the war the way our ancestors fought in 1812. They gave the devil an extension. They fighting a war with the facts, bringing the truth out to the forefront, bringing the references out, what we call cashing the receipt in the public, right? They following the oral tradition, using social media as a time-stamped archivable format to let everybody know Rod Hayes ain't crazy. We from here, we been here, we gonna be here, and they ain't. They look like us, but they ain't us, and they ain't tricking us no more. And then all of the ones that's under contract, your college fraternities, they all trace back to Prince Hall. Prince Hall decided to get a charter because he's seen the sorcery being done as an apprentice to a Scottish Rite Freemason, and they wouldn't give him a charter. So he went to England and got a charter from the ones that couldn't tell him no because they knew who he was by blood. And he come back and he said, okay, now we can fight their war on their terms. We can educate ourselves above the condition. Everybody don't have to win, just one. If one person educate themselves above the condition, not go to school and get educated, because your PhDs and your BAs and your associates, none of that don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's your ability to be able to tell the people who did it. This is in my GD literature, by the way. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Right? And I didn't know why that was a standalone piece of literature until I started putting everything together. Because I read Viceroy literature, I read Peace Stone literature, and I started saying, wait a minute. We got parts of our GD literature that come from the Stones, but the Stones don't use that part of the literature, right? So when I start sifting through everything, putting everything together, I keep getting all of these, what the, I'm like Elmer Fudd, what the fuck is this? I mean,
Man.
and it's blowing my mind, but it's making me see. Now I got to figure out how to tell it to the tribes. They turned us against each other by sending infiltrators in that looked like us. Mm-hmm. And now you see it playing out with rolling 60s and people that they thought was a rolling 60 the whole time. He's a police.
Right, man. Listen, I mean, what a show. We about to approach the 3-hour marks. Oh man, what a return to YouTube for Rod Hayes family. What a return to the Black Magic 363 family rise. Rod Hayes, before you get out of here, if there's one thing you tell the people, everything, the Pope just died, You see everything going on. If there's one thing, there's over 4,000 people you could tell the family before we get out of here, Rod, what would it be, Rod?
I'm back from my sabbatical. Some they say I'm radical, cold-hearted, and militant. You've been a little magical.
Whew.
Return from hiatus, back to be the greatest MC that you ever heard. The rest of them suckers faded.
Shit. you be driving some shit, Rod.
I'll be on one sometime, brother Rich.
I gotta get you. I gotta get you on the beat, man. I gotta get you. We gotta get in the
I got to
studio.
get back in that vibe though, and like I've been trying my pen. My pen won't cooperate, meaning don't do no music right now.
Mm, mm. Hey, man, we gonna talk, Rod. We definitely gonna talk. We gonna figure this thing out. Family, I want to thank you for everybody who's tuned in tonight, everybody who watched the whole show, everybody who watched half the show, everybody who watched a quarter of the show. Regardless, I want to thank you for tuning in, showing support. Before you leave the channel, make sure you hit the like button. That's important to let the algorithm know when Rod Hayes is on YouTube that people like watching Rod Hayes. So before you leave the show tonight, make sure you hit the like button. That's very important for the algorithm. Also, make sure the brother has a Cash App.
You went on a vacation for him. They was like, "Hey man, when Rod coming back, man, we need an update. You know, man, we going, we walking in the dark here, man. We need to know what these guys up to. We need to see some of their moves. Now, I got some critical questions to lead up into. We're gonna take just really a Q&A. For y'all, for all the people that's in. It's gonna be a lot of people on here tonight. It's really a Q&A, but I got a couple of questions tied into the paradigm that's going around now, religious paradigm, and then we could get into most stuff. But I got a couple of questions, heavy duty joints. So we can go and get it cracking unless you gotta say something to the people before we get started.